my first of all, my producer that I know well. By now, she knows very well, like 6 years working with me, she's quite very much in aware of Afghanistan, situation of women and children there. And of course, political situation there and geopolitically in the world. So I told her and that we have to do something. And then she tried to make me calm, and they said, yeah, we'll do it. So we were just like reacting. I think we were just in urgent way. We wanted to, what we want that should happen. Yeah, so after being concerned about women, I was so much worried about women artists. So being a woman and then being an artist, having a voice, being different in this society is something aids to being extra in danger. I think that is something I know it very well. I know it like how when we live in danger, what does it mean? So so yeah, I mean we start talking about it, and then we started. Then we made a network of like a lot of institutions, because people are working together also in the art scene. More theaters and festivals, since my producer are like, she has partners in other festivals, in other like live art institutions all over France. So a lot of them, they told us that they are with us. So she came back to me and told me that who we want to, also whom we should take them out. So she found this very hard for her to make a selection of some people to save. But for me, it was, I was in such a urgent way of like thinking that I said that for me it is easy. I'll just pick women. I'm going to think about women artists. Who is most, I mean, the most in danger. And then some of them, I made a list, and then around nearly 80 or something. And then most of them are women. Like among them, especially, there is like a Afghan theater group, Afghan girls theater group, which was like is composed by 9 girls in this theater. And then so these are like this. I'm just giving this an example because I was so far I was in contact with them. I was giving them Zoom workshop like 2019 and 2020 back. So this is very easy for me. This is just so obvious that these girls who are like the only Afghan theater group girls, I mean, they can't leave like under Taliban, that they claim the regime and the government. So so this way I introduced people, and we start like asking from the French government that this list. So we were in the process of like getting confirmation from French state that we were succeeding, and they were like, we were working day and night on those days already, because it was like among like this much information that we have to ask. And then we were putting pressure that the things has to work quickly. But I have to say again, those days I was not expecting, we were not expecting that Kabul will fall down within 2 hours in mid-August. So we were in the process of getting them out. And then suddenly in front of our eyes, the computer was here for the news, my mobile is here, the WhatsApp with connecting with this Afghan artist, and then my iPad there is for some other emails. So I saw that like Kabul fell down in 2 hours. And yeah, in the middle of this shock, we just accelerate the process, and then we asked that things has to be in danger. It must have been much in an urgent way. And then we entered to the most difficult part of like, because that was a real war there. They were running like were saying that like, okay, she died. She can't move anymore or something. So it was, that was not easy. That was literally not easy. And, but after all, I mean, we were also lucky that things worked out as each operation was like failing down, since Kabul airport was very much under control of Taliban and the United States. So yeah, all these involved, they were like around 80. They are here now in my list. There are then with us those days we found out that some other lists are being also like getting is getting out. So because at the end we were just collaborating, all of us. So yeah.
Goodness. So that is something, I mean, what you've contributed, your generosity is something amazing, Kubra. Just amazing. And obviously this fear continues. This fear is going to continue a long time. And it's not only for you. When we all who are not even from Afghanistan see it, we are also fearful. We are fearful for women. We are fearful for humanity. And you're fearful for everybody. And wars have always been very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think what happens at the end of a war always, I mean, I don't know when it ends and when you actually realize it's over, but it does have an effect on art and on artists like you, because obviously your work is all related to what is happening. But tell me, so what will happen to this? I'm just trying to see what will actually happen to all the artists who are here. I mean, there's a big group. I mean, 100 people is a lot of people to be outside the country. I mean, and so will there be like a diaspora Afghan movement, or I mean, how do you see it panning out, and how do you see how will are we going to encounter more of this fabulous art from Afghanistan? What do you think is going to happen?
What is for sure is like these like the art by this number of artists or by each one of them was happening there, but now like these all are going to leave here and they're going to build their career here. So it is in a way that is being guaranteed that first of all, they're alive, the work they're going to do will continue, but in a much broader context, which much more possibilities. So I say it because I have worked here for 6 years, and I know how, I know how it will, I mean, how it will work. So I am quite very much positive about making, I mean, the continuation of their work, plus how it will like happen. How it will happen, of course, is not imaginable. Every artist is like very specific, and then we don't know what we do and things like that. So what is obvious is like this cultural heritage that had to be in Afghanistan will be saved and will happen here. Yeah, also like this, like at least like this number of artists that I'm talking, they're all now living in a 1 year of residency in France. Like this, in all of them are like now passing their residencies, and they are not only about this honor, not only to accompany them with their like asylum and life and things, but also their artistic project. So this attention right now is like giving psychologically kind of like assurance, like assurance, like yeah,
like the confidence.
exactly the confident, like to give them, but also like, yes, you are safe, but you will work. So do whatever you want. So it's kind of like, also as my experience, like being in contact with them here as well, I'm seeing that how this evacuation and this extreme political like change, like this move have like marked them in their work. So yeah, I mean, big works will like will be um, preserved here in France, which is sad that it couldn't happen in our own country. But I don't want to see it in this point. I would like to see it from other point, that, well, from its positive point of view, that yeah, they will live and they will continue working and they will be voice for a lot of others. So why not to be stronger and be freer and then having more power? I'm confident on saying that France has been, it's not about being because this country saved me, because no, it's not about that. It's well, again, about like literal experience and a real experience. So I would say that here is the country of opportunities, and here is you can raise your voice, and it will like exist instead of being like oof, like what happens. I mean, back there. So yeah, but beside this also, like again, coming back to that question of like relationship, I think I would like to add that for me, the horror starts right now. I was so much like involved. I was so much like trying that I even didn't, I was not realizing how it's possible that 3 weeks you don't sleep. With Maria, with my producer, she was also like so much. She was more than, she did all. She was the head of this, like directing this very hard operation. And then here was also our like third person was Joris Mathieu. He's like director of, he's based in Lyon, and he is such a great job they did. I am so much admiring them. It's like, it became a kind of war for them, but inside culture and art, they were not like putting it down in one moment, like after each time, like failure of the operation and things. And operation, I mean, means they're not here. And how much things were like, we were standing up again, and we were just going through, I mean, together. And so for me, I'm saying that thinking about how, well, it's again, like it's another topic if you want to talk about that, how Taliban took power and why that has to happen and why it happened and how all this, like putting all aside. But what is not fair is about like what's happening to Afghan children there, to Afghan women there. Like that's something for me. I do not.
In our lifetimes, Kubra, I think we've seen so much peace. And when you see we only in history we read about the Second World War and blah, blah, all these things that where the wars affected artists and people. And here, this is a very, you're giving us such an in-depth view of the reality of what it is today, that all of us are just voyeurs and you've experienced this whole thing. I mean, this is such an important part of history, and it has such great depth. And the way you've gone into it, and I mean, this is really part of history, and it's part of history of not only of the art but also of the real world. And it's so close to art and artists, and you've brought us so much closer to it by sharing these experiences and telling us this thing, because this is really a first-hand thing where the impact is there right now for all of us to see. And we're going to obviously see it in these 100 artists. And like you say, I'm sure we're going to see different branches of this big situation.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think art has such a
I mean,
power.
very rarely do you see this so firsthand. That very rarely do we get an opportunity to, art is a little bit removed from this kind of reality, but you have thrown us right into the depths of what it is, what war is, and what it does to artists, and what you've done. I mean, it's amazing that you've been able to pull all these people out of Afghanistan and save them and bring them to France. I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, yeah, it is because, again, I insist and say that I would like to see their career, which is going to be built here from this point of view, instead of being sad, is that...
No,
it's
like, fantastic. Because of your last 6 years, you're so positive about it for them, which is great as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's good to be grateful of what you have. Yeah, I mean, it's also part of it that I'm learning to, practicing as an artist, that how things are possible here. I mean, you knock somewhere and then they open the door and you talk about like Afghanistan, a country which the whole world knows where exactly is positioned, this country with its whole misery and war and this all extreme history is like situated. So everybody knows. And then, like, they would say that, no, but no, I had positive answer when this was happening. And that is something that I think it's also, in a way, it is about how art is a tool and how art has power to be change in the history. So that is something that when there is like political like power or hegemony in what's happening at the time in the context,
yes,
and what comes from very free, I mean not aggressive, like who comes to I think fight is exactly what art does. So yeah, I learned it through working, since I am like a woman, and I consider myself a feminist artist. I learned that how important is to being a woman artist, and you dig into the history and stand against patriarchy, no matter where it is, but it's very effective to bring another culture where, for example, at least from my own culture that I'm born, where there is like everything is about like women don't exist. That is something that I know very well. I knew it, like I know it. So it is like how is it important to raise that part of like to work like on my woman identity to more and more to, yeah, I was eventually like, this question is very interesting that you asked me about other artists. When I come first, a lot of people ask me eventually, like in different ways, that do you think that you changing the context, you will be in the crisis or not knowing what to do since you're not in your our country. But I don't know how I was like somehow replying to this question, but I think this question comes from people who are just worried about things. I think being an artist is not about that. We are not worrying about things, what to do. I think everything is there inside, and it just comes out. This I think artists have been given. It should not be like a chain not to do this. When it comes out, it has to.
You're a very special lady, Kubra. You are. And you are, because you're not only are you generous, you're open, and you are confident in spite of the odds. So you're very special. So maybe the other people are not so confident like you, and they ask you these questions. But I think we're running out of time. It's 8:29 in India, and I don't know how to thank you for this, and I don't know, I mean, for luckily, this is going to be on YouTube for people to watch, because those who haven't joined us will understand how this juncture between art and war is being lived by you, really. And you know, the way you're bound to have a very, very important influence on the lives of many, many people, Kubra. I mean, because you are at a very important part of history.
Thank you so much.
So I think so. So you are privileged. You are very, very privileged. You are very privileged that you're able to see so much positiveness in this situation, and you know, you have done such wonders.
Well, I'm
so
lucky.
I think we have to have many more conversations, because this has really been riveting. But you know, it's also been very moving. You know, I'm completely moved, and I'm sure so are others. But I was, even when I met you last month, I came back and I was like, I'm so lucky that I've even met a person like this. So thank you. I think we at Tap India are so lucky that we've had someone like you to talk to us, and you know, because they're artists who are going to take a page out of your book for sure. You know, and art, you know, I think people are going to understand how important the power of art is. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions, but I think we'll send you the questions we have and whatever we get. So thank you. And Kuma's just told me that she's going away to New York for 6 months. So we are going to miss you when we all come to Paris, but I'm sure we'll meet again very soon.
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
I don't know if you want to say anything else as a closing remark. Good night to everybody, and a big, huge thank you to you.
Thank you to you. Thank you for.
No, you're very special. Thank you. Thanks so much, and see you soon, Kubra.
Yes.
Okay.
See you. I don't know where.
Good night, and enjoy the season in France, and enjoy the whole experience in New York as well.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.